Good evening. My name's Louise and I'm one of the distance learning tutors here at First Intuition, and welcome to your audit revision session. This evening we're going to be looking at task 1, which is quite a small task. I'm sure you'll all be glad to hear. So we're going to work through this task point by point, and then there will be further sessions for the rest of the tasks. So let me just pull that task up, share the correct screen. And we're going to start off by actually looking at the task briefing that we have, because I think that details really well the areas that you need to be revising for this question. So it tells us here that we've got some key topic areas. You need to be familiar with an assurance engagement and the 5 key elements. So these are your 3-party relationship, your subject matter, your suitable criteria, sufficient appropriate evidence, and written assurance report. Any of these things could be questioned in this task 1, so you need to ensure that you're really confident with them. We then have reasonable versus limited assurance. We're going to come back to that. We're going to discuss that in a minute. And then, of course, corporate governance. Again, any of these things could come up in task 1. Task 1 is a multiple choice computer marked exam. A computer marked task even. So there's lots of different content that could come up, and you could have some questions on assurance and some on corporate governance. Could be very mix and match. So let's have a look. We also have this area on external versus internal audit. I think that's quite a nice area. Hopefully you're all fairly familiar with that by the point of watching revision sessions. Okay. So this is an example of task 1. This is kind of what we expect your task 1 to look like. So you're working on the audit of Titus Limited, a travel agent. You are part of a small team. A partner of your firm is explaining that auditors need to follow ISAs when conducting their work. And the question asks, what does ISA stand for? So we have income sales analysis, internal structure of auditing, international standards on accounting, and international standards on auditing. I would like to think that you could cross off income sales analysis and international standards on accounting straight off the list because, well, they don't have the words auditing in them. But realistically, I would hope that you are all very, very aware now that ISA stands for International Standards on Auditing. That's a nice question to have. Nice quick mark to start your mock with. The next then, we've got to complete the following statement. So the statement goes, a statutory external audit provides something, assurance, to someone on the financial statements of Titus Limited. So in our pick list, we've got shareholders, limited, government, positive, directors, and employees. Well, it's going to be either positive or limited, isn't it? This first box here, it's going to either be limited or positive. So now we'll just go back up and have a little look at that paragraph that I skipped over before. So you need to be able to explain this in a written question and pick this out of a multiple choice question. So your reasonable assurance and your limited assurance, 2 really, really key things. So an audit that provides reasonable assurance to stakeholders of the company that the accounts are not materially misstated. Really important definition here. This reasonable assurance is the highest level of comfort that auditors can provide to these users. So, for example, shareholders. So what we're saying here is the auditors are telling the shareholders, we believe to the best of our ability that the financial statements are not materially misstated. That's what reasonable assurance means. It is possible that auditors can say, well, we can't provide reasonable assurance, but what we can provide is limited assurance. So your limited assurance, this is a lower level of assurance, comfort, that can be provided. And limited assurance can be provided by the auditor to a third party, such as a bank, that is considering a loan application based on cash flow forecasts. Okay, so what we're saying here is the auditor can say to the bank, well, we've looked at these financial statements, and what we can say is the auditor has not found anything that they need to bring to the attention of the bank based on the cash flow forecasts. That's what they're saying here. So it's seen as a negative expression because we're saying there is nothing to bring to the attention. So that's a negative expression. So if we go back to this question then, a statutory external audit provides, this is going to be positive assurance. Oh, have to have my pen. So positive assurance to, and we just looked at this, didn't we? It's not going to be to the government, it's not going to be to directors, and it's not going to be to employees. It will be to shareholders as stakeholders. This is going to be to shareholders. Okay. And next we have the finance director has offered you any holiday in their brochure. Remember, this is a travel agent. So any holiday in their brochure for free if you perform a hassle-free audit. That's a nice offer, isn't it? So which threat to auditor independence does this represent? Your threats to independence, something you should have been looking at since level 2. Hopefully you're all super happy with these. So our options are familiarity, self-review, and self-interest. Well, I am not going to talk through these 3 options because we are on level 4 into audit, and I would really hope that you would note that this is self-interest. Why is it self-interest? Well, it's self-interest because the auditor is now going to try really, really hard to perform a hassle-free audit to get this holiday. Okay, so they're going to, well, I shouldn't say they're going to. They may try to cut corners. They may try to skip over things, not do due diligence because they want this holiday. Therefore, what action should you take? So we've got pick the least expensive holiday, politely decline the offer, or report the issue to the firm's money laundering reporting officer. Well, this, of course, should be politely decline the offer. As nice as it may be, and it may be seen as a perk to the job, you are not allowed to take holidays from your clients for the exact reasons we just stated up here. If you start doing this, then the chances are that the audits that you're carrying out are actually not giving a true and fair representation. And that's the total of task 1. Nice and quick, nothing too difficult there. We will be back in a separate video for the remaining tasks.